If you're new here, hit subscribe, because this story will take you straight into one of the darkest moments in modern America. April 15th, 2013. The Boston Marathon was in full celebration, crowds cheering, flags waving, cameras flashing. Then at 2:49 p.m., a white flash tore through the finish line. Smoke, screams, confusion. 12 seconds later, a second explosion shook Boylston Street. The cheers of thousands turned into chaos. No one yet knew who had done it, but Boston was under attack. Moments earlier, two men had walked calmly through the crowd, baseball caps low, backpacks on their shoulders. They looked like ordinary spectators. Surveillance cameras caught them placing the bags on the ground, then disappearing into the sea of people. As first responders rushed in, police officers shouted for everyone to move back. Within minutes, the area became a crime scene. FBI agents collected every scrap of metal and fabric, soon realizing the blasts came from homemade pressure cooker bombs filled with nails and ball bearings. Whoever built them wanted to kill as many as possible. Investigators pored over hours of footage. Then they saw it, a man in a white cap walking away just before the first explosion. Another in black followed beside him. Two faces calm in the chaos. Two faces the world would soon recognize. 3 days later, their images were released to the public. Boston held its breath. And just when the city thought the nightmare might be ending, a new call came across the police radio. Officer down at MIT. Shots fired. The hunt had begun. The night after the FBI released the suspect's photos, Boston was on edge. Every phone buzzed with alerts. Then, just before midnight, a chilling call came across the radio. Officer down at MIT. Shots fired. Campus police officer Sean Collier had been sitting in his cruiser when two men approached. Within seconds, he was ambushed, shot at point-blank range. His weapon never left its holster. When officers arrived, the gunmen were gone, the patrol car's lights still flashing in the dark. The suspects' faces matched the ones on every news channel. The Tsarnaev brothers, Tamerlan and Dzhokhar. They were young, angry, and desperate. They had murdered an officer and now needed a getaway car. Minutes later, a man was carjacked in nearby Alston. The brothers forced him at gunpoint to drive as they bragged about being the marathon bombers. When he escaped at a gas station, police finally had a direction. Soon, officers in Watertown spotted the stolen SUV. The quiet suburb erupted into a war zone. Bullets flying, explosions shaking houses. Residents hid in basements as police exchanged fire with the brothers. Homemade bombs rolled across the street, lighting up the night. Tamerlan was hit and captured, but chaos ruled the scene. As officers rushed in, the stolen SUV suddenly lurched forward, driven by the younger brother. In seconds, the car crushed Tamerlan before speeding off into the dark. Boston was now in total lockdown. The city streets were empty, helicopters circling above. The younger suspect had vanished, and the largest manhunt in modern U.S. history had just begun. The city of Boston woke to silence. Streets were empty, trains stopped, stores closed. Police urged everyone to stay indoors, an entire city frozen, while one man hid somewhere among them. Helicopters thundered overhead. Armored vehicles rolled through neighborhoods. Every door, every backyard was searched. Hours turned into a full day. Dozens of officers swept the small town of Watertown, but there was no sign of the surviving suspect, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. He was injured, armed, and desperate. Somewhere out there he was watching the city hunt for him. By evening, exhaustion had set in. Then, at 6 p.m., a resident stepped outside for the first time all day. He noticed something strange, blood on the side of his boat parked in the yard. Peering inside, he saw a young man curled up beneath the tarp. He called 911. Within minutes, police surrounded the property. The standoff lasted nearly 2 hours. Flashbang grenades echoed through the neighborhood as negotiators tried to get the suspect to surrender. Finally, a faint voice answered, pleading for help. Officers moved in, pulling him from the boat, his body covered in blood and soot. As the ambulance drove away, Boston erupted in relief. Strangers hugged in the streets. The suspects' names and faces were now known to the world. One dead, one captured. But beneath the celebration, a quiet truth remained. 3 lives lost at the marathon, hundreds injured, and a city forever changed. And in the years that followed, one question still echoed across America. What makes someone turn their home into a battlefield? If you thought this story was intense, subscribe, because the next one is even darker.